Earlier, my flock used to consist of about 300 to 400 sheep, but of lately, due to the scarcity of pastures, the number has decreased to about 100 sheep, including lambs. We rear the sheep mainly for wool making, meat supply, and for religious purposes. We even sell lambs in order to meet our basic household necessities. Sheep butter is used for consuming and is also used for medicinal purposes. Sheep butter, when applied as an ointment on burnt skin, has remarkable healing property. It erases the scar caused by burns. We sell it for Rs 200 per kilogram. The flocks graze at alpine regions during summers, and during winters we move towards warmer pastures. During summers we head towards Unglathang, Khangsing, Zemuthang, Chokchiring, Chauri and Pangding. The sheep mostly graze on grasses available in the forest. Besides these, the sheep is also provided with salt and water. The fodder available are Bajrat, Kola, Dudhilo at lower altitude, and at alpine region they graze on grasses like Tinpatte, Ganar and Bukki. Our sheep are mostly infected with khoret and face dangers from worms and leeches. We follow the local method of treatment. Nowadays, it has become quite hard for us to employ shepherds. In earlier times, the shepherds were paid in kind, whereas of now, they seek payment in cash amounting to Rs 7,000 to 8,000 per year. Shepherds alone are not enough to look after these flocks. We, the livestock owners too, have to look after their ration and other necessary items at regular intervals. The dog that we have guards our sheep against wild animals and also warns us against intruders. We have no idea about why this ban on forest grazing has been imposed, but we do avoid our sheep from grazing on plantation areas. Since sheep mostly feed on grasses, there is no need for us to cut down trees for sheep fodder, unlike cattle herders. But we do use few branches to make our makeshift shelter. It is not at all possible to rear such a large number of animals at home. If so, we will have to employ extra person solely to look after its feed and fodder. This we cannot afford. Hence, the animals have to be reared in forest where the grass is abundant. We have no grievances to the government as long as our sheep gets their usual fodder and are permitted to graze in the forest. We will be much more than satisfied, for we will be able to earn enough for our daily livelihood and send our children to school.
This was the grievance of this hard-working old shepherd who has spent almost his entire life raising his flock of sheep, and his only desire is to preserve what little he has and maybe someday increase it to what he used to have before. The Gurung families are of the opinion that sheep rearing is much more beneficial than goat rearing. Apart from generating employment for the males as shepherds, female members of the family are also gainfully engaged with weaving. Wool of Banpala sheep is used for weaving lukuni, a woolen handmade coat, rari, woolen handmade blankets, and burkasan, woolen handmade mats. After the sheep are sheared, the sheared wool is first soaked in water for an hour and then washed in cold water inside a bamboo basket called jhak. Hongeto, a pair of brush made of twigs, are used to stir and remove dirt. The wool is then let to dry in the sun. This wool is then beaten with a bow-like object called luri. Soft wool is obtained after this process, which is then formed into fine bundles called puri. This soft wool is then formed into continuous strings with the help of a rotating wheel called charkha. The strings are then formed into woolen balls. The woolen thread is then wound into the tan. This tan consists of a number of wooden pegs which are fixed vertically on the ground. Its purpose is to determine the breadth of the material which will be weaved then after. Once the breadth is fixed, the tan is lifted and it is put at an angle inclined according to the comfort of the weaver. After the weaving is finished, the product is soaked in water and then kneaded with feet. This is done to soften the product and to loosen the fibers. When this is over, the product is rolled and then pressed gently. The product is then let to dry in the sun. To be economically viable to the sheep rearers, a flock should comprise of at least 100 animals. For these rearers who rely solely on sheep husbandry as their chief means of livelihood, the only way to raise such a large number of animals is to let them graze in the forests. However, to reduce forest degradation and preserve the ecological security of the state, the government of Sikkim has imposed a ban on grazing within the reserve forest. Thus, this has led to wide-scale sale and slaughter of Banpala sheep, bringing down their population to around 1,100 animals at present, and if immediate steps are not taken to conserve these endangered breeds, it may lead to its extinction. Steps have already been taken in understanding the ecology of the temperate forest, the alpine meadows, and their key habitats. However, the state government needs to take up further strong initiatives to ensure effective management of not only these unique and fragile environments, but also to preserve and sustain the endangered species of Sikkim like blue sheep and Siri cattle.